Hello. Today we're going to talk about setting up your environment to do virtual instruction with a student who is visually impaired. The first thing to think about is background. So as you can see where I am, there is a lot going on in the background. I have a couple of pictures going on with a lot of information. I have a door frame. So that's not ideal because it makes it difficult for the student with a vision impairment to know exactly where they're supposed to be focusing. So what I'd like to do is put up a blanket. So I'm going to move you here to where I do instruction, and behind me, as you'll see, is a dark blanket. So all I do is tape that blanket to the wall, and now I have an automatic blank background behind me that blocks out any kind of competing visual information that might be there. So if you don't have a black blanket or a dark blanket or a dark towel or something that you could put up, or you just don't want to do that, you could set yourself in front of a wall that doesn't have anything on it. So what I mean by that is a wall with no windows, no pictures. If you can find a blank wall or a wall where you could easily remove a picture, that might be an ideal way to set up your virtual environment. So now that we've talked about your background, we're going to talk about what you're wearing. So depending on how you position your camera, you may be able to see your clothing. So if you'll see, I have on a shirt that is cluttered and it has polka dots on it. So it's not ideal. So if you were able to see my clothing in my setup, you'd want to put on something that is plain. So I'm gonna pop on this shirt to show you what I mean. I chose this shirt because it has no patterns on it, but I also chose it because it's red. So this red shirt would be really ideal for a student who is cortically visually impaired. So if you have a student who has a cortical visual impairment and they're doing virtual instruction, they may not be drawn to the screen at all. They may not be seeing much at all. But if you have on something bright red, it's providing a lot of contrast, and many times they're drawn to the color red. So it may just be helping them actually pay attention, visual attention to the screen, which is a really good place to start for virtual instruction with a student with a vision impairment. Putting on a red shirt and drawing their attention so they know where they're supposed to be looking. So the other option is to put on something dark. So I just brought this black hoodie. I'm gonna pop it on over my clothes because right now really you can see my arms and everything as well. So it's just a lot for someone to look at. So if you really want them to focus in on what you're showing, you can block out the rest of you as well. I'm gonna pop off these earrings. And now really, you got a just nice close-up of my face, which everybody loves a close-up of their face, don't they? So that's another option, to block out anything, any kind of competing clothing or earrings and things that are on your body to make it really visually simple for your student. The icing on the cake is if you happen to have some red lipstick, you can put on this red lipstick for your virtual instruction. And now it does a couple of things. It ties into that cortical visual impairment piece I was talking about because it's red. And now your student could be drawn to the red of your lips now. The other thing that it does is provide a nice contrast between my mouth and my face. So if you're visually impaired and you're having trouble seeing details on the screen, having these bright red lips helps a student with a vision impairment know how to frame my face. Now they know where my lips are and my face in context of it all. So putting on the red lipstick could also help students who are younger really be able to see where that language is coming out of. So with your lips enhanced, they can really zone in on your mouth and really understand where that language is coming from. So we've talked about your background. We've talked about what you're wearing. We've talked about your mouth. So the next thing we're going to talk about is materials. So I was on a Zoom session with a teacher a while back and she was showing some cars. So I brought down some cars and when she was doing it, she was like showing the cars like this and she was talking about them. And the problem with this is that now this car is competing with my red lips and my hair and my eyes and my face and everything else. There's in my hands, there's a lot going on here. So one very simple thing that you could do is just move yourself out, bring your item in close. And this is certainly much better. It's giving the student an opportunity to look just at the car and not at everything else I had in the frame before this. So an even better option, if you have access to something with a black or dark background that has felt that you can Velcro things to, because Velcro is obviously the teacher's best friend. So this board came with the Wheatley tactile diagramming kit, and it's felt so that I can Velcro things to it. So I just took this little car, and it's nice and high contrast, it's yellow, and I put Velcro on the back of it. And so I'm gonna stick it to this board, and now I can bring this board up. And now all you have is a really nice, simple image, and my dog barking, with a yellow car and a black background. So the other thing that you wanna do is give your student lots of wait time. So when you're presenting an image, a student without a vision impairment can simply see it quickly, and the teacher can say, okay, we're taking a look at the yellow car, and then they can pull it away and your student without a vision impairment is done. But for a student with a vision impairment, they really need time to process that image. So you're gonna hold it up. Plot! You're gonna hold it up. Dogs, right? You're gonna hold it up. You're going to label it out loud. You're gonna say, okay, now we're gonna look at the yellow car. And you're gonna pull up the yellow car here, and you're gonna give them lots of wait time. And then you're gonna pull it back. So what I did first too was I said, you're going to look at the yellow car. That gives the student an opportunity to know what it is that they're about to look at and draw from any prior knowledge that they have in preparation to view that image. And then you're going to get nice and close and giving them tons of wait time so they can really get the details of what it is that you're trying to show them. So those are the basics, just a few simple things that you can do to enhance virtual instruction for kids who are visually impaired.